Dr. Hyun-sik Kim rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the quantum communicator screen again. The green light was blinking. That was impossible. For 3 years, nothing had come from Earth. Not one message, not one signal. The distance was too far and the alien trade rules too strict. But the light kept blinking. Hyun-sik pressed the receive button with a shaking finger. The Kepler Station research lab was quiet around him. Outside the thick windows, space looked cold and empty. Stars dotted the black sky like tiny diamonds. The nearest star to Earth was so far away that light took 4 years to travel between them. The screen showed one new message. The sender made Hyun-sik's heart beat faster. orgsynthLaboratoryIgmail.com. He had never heard of this laboratory. Gmail was an old Earth email system that people stopped using decades ago. Who would send a message from such an old system? And how did it reach them across the galaxy? Hyun-sik opened the message. There were no words. Just one file attachment. The teaser file was huge, bigger than anything the station's computers had ever received. It would take hours to download completely. He started the download and ran to find Dr. Bora Lee. She was in the biology lab, looking at plant samples under a microscope. Bora was the station's best scientist for studying life forms. If anyone could understand a mystery file, it would be her. Bora, you need to see this, Hyun-sik said, breathing hard from running. Bora looked up from her microscope. Her dark eyes showed concern. What is wrong? You look scared. We got a message from Earth, from someone called Orgsynth Laboratory. Bora's face went pale. That is impossible. The Valkyrie Collective does not allow Earth to send messages to deep space stations. They made that rule 3 years ago. I know, but look at this. Hyun-sik showed her the message on his tablet computer. Bora stared at the screen for a long time. Her hands were shaking slightly. This file is enormous, she said. What kind of data could be so big? That is what we need to find out. But we should tell Commander Park first. They walked quickly to the command center. Commander Woo-jin Park was studying star maps on the main screen. He was a serious man with gray hair and tired eyes. Running Kepler Station was not easy work. They were far from any help if things went wrong. Commander, Hyun-sik said, we have a situation. Commander Park turned around. What kind of situation? We received a message from Earth, from an unknown laboratory. The commander's face became hard. Show me. Hyun-sik explained everything. Commander Park listened without speaking. When the story was finished, he was quiet for a long time. This could be a trap, he finally said. The Valkyrie have been watching us closely. They do not want humans to expand further into space. Maybe they sent this message to test us. But sir, Bora said, why would they use an old Earth email system? That seems like a strange choice for alien beings. Maybe they are trying to make us think it really came from Earth. Then we would download the file and it might contain a virus or tracking system. The download progress bar on Hyun-sik's tablet showed 70% complete. Whatever was in that file, they would know soon. There is another possibility, Hyun-sik said quietly. What if someone on Earth found a way to break the communication ban? What if they sent us something important? Commander Park walked to the main window. Outside, a cargo ship was arriving with supplies from the inner colonies. It moved slowly between the station's docking arms like a metal whale. If Earth really sent this message, he said, then they broke galactic law. The Valkyrie will not forgive that. They might shut down all human space operations. But what if the message contains something that could help humanity? Bora asked. What if it is scientific data that could change everything? The download completed with a soft beep. All 3 people looked at the tablet screen. The file was ready to open. Before we look at this, Commander Park said, I want to make something clear. If this file contains illegal technology or banned research, we must report it to the Valkyrie immediately. The safety of this station and everyone on it comes first. Hyun-sik nodded, but his finger was already moving toward the open button. The file name was simple. Project Genesis Phase 1 Implementation. He touched the screen. The file opened into thousands of pages of scientific data. Charts, graphs, and diagrams filled the screen. Most of it looked like biology and chemistry. Information, but it was unlike anything any of them had seen before. Bora gasped. These are genetic sequences, but they are not from any Earth species I know. And these chemical formulas. She scrolled through page after page. This looks like instructions for creating living matter from basic elements. Creating life? Commander Park moved closer to look at the screen. Not exactly creating life, Bora said, her voice getting excited. More like growing it. These diagrams show how to make organic structures that can build themselves. Look at this section. It shows how to create living habitats that can survive in space or on hostile planets. Hyun-sik felt his heart racing. This could change everything. If we can grow habitats instead of building them, human expansion into space would be unlimited. That is exactly why this might be illegal, Commander Park said. The Galactic Accords forbid biological terraforming technology. Too many planets were destroyed in the old wars when species tried to remake worlds. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the command center walls. The long-range sensor display lit up with new contacts. Commander, the communications officer called out, we have multiple ships approaching the station. They are not responding to our identification requests. Commander Park ran to the sensor station. On the screen, 5 large ships were moving toward Kepler Station. Their design was familiar and frightening. Long, sleek vessels that looked like giant insects. Valkyrie ships, he said grimly. A full battle fleet. Bora grabbed Hyun-sik's arm. How did they know about the message so quickly? We just received it. Unless they have been watching our communications, Hyun-sik said. Or unless what? Unless someone wanted them to come here. Unless this whole thing was planned. The Valkyrie ships were getting closer. On the communication screen, a message appeared in cold, precise text. Kepler Station, prepare for immediate inspection. Biological containment protocols in effect. Do not attempt to resist or flee. Commander Park looked at the tablet still showing the strange biological data. Then he looked at his 2 scientists. Hide that file, he said, quietly. Copy it to a secure location and then delete all traces from the main system. If the Valkyrie find it, they will destroy this station and everyone on it. But Commander, Bora protested, this information could be humanity's future. Right now, I am more worried about humanity's present, he replied. We have maybe 30 minutes before they dock. Use that time wisely. As Hyun-sik and Bora rushed to hide the mysterious file, one question burned in their minds. Who was Orgsynth Laboratory, and why had they chosen this exact moment to contact Kepler Station? Outside the windows, the Valkyrie fleet grew larger and more threatening. Whatever answers lay hidden in that biological data, they would have to wait. First, they needed to survive the next few hours. The signal from Earth had arrived, but it might have doomed them all. 2 days had passed since the Valkyrie ships left Kepler Station. Their inspection had been thorough and terrifying. The alien beings had searched every room, every computer, every corner of the station. They found nothing about the mysterious email. Dr. Hyun-sik Kim sat in his quarters, staring at a small data chip hidden inside his coffee cup. The chip contained everything from the Orgsynth Laboratory file. He and Bora had managed to hide it just minutes before the aliens arrived. Commander Park had forbidden any research into the biological data. Too dangerous, he said. If the Valkyrie come back and find us experimenting with banned technology, they will destroy us all. But Hyun-sik could not stop thinking about what he had seen. The diagrams showed living structures that could grow from simple materials. If the data was real, it could change humanity's future forever. He made a decision that would change everything. At 3 a.m, when most of the station was sleeping, Hyun-sik quietly left his room. He walked through the dim corridors to the abandoned research lab in Section C. This part of the station had been damaged in a meteor strike 6 months ago. Nobody used it anymore because the radiation levels were too high for long visits. But for a short experiment, it would be Perfect Bora was already waiting for him in the lab. She wore a radiation protection suit and carried a bag of equipment. "I knew you would come," she said through her helmet communicator. "I could not stop thinking about the data either. Commander Park will be very angry if he finds out," Hyun-sik warned. "Then we will not let him find out. We will do one small test and see what happens." They set up their equipment quickly. The biological data included instructions for creating something called a bioconstruct. According to the file, this living structure could convert basic materials into useful resources like air, water, and food. The process seemed almost too simple. They needed organic waste, some common minerals from the station's supply room, and a few drops of human blood to start the reaction. "Are you sure about this?" Bora asked as she prepared the materials in a small container. "No," Hyun-sik admitted. "But if we do nothing, humanity will never know what we might have discovered." Bora added the final ingredient, 3 drops of her own blood, to the mixture. According to the instructions, human DNA was needed to program the bioconstruct to recognize and help humans. For several minutes, nothing happened. The mixture looked like gray soup with tiny bits of metal floating in it. Then something changed. The mixture began to move. Not like liquid stirring, but like something alive was waking up inside it. Small bubbles formed and popped. The color changed from gray to pale green. "It is working," Bora whispered. Within an hour, they had created something impossible. The bioconstruct had grown into a mass of living tissue about the size of a baseball. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. When they tested the air around it, they found it was producing oxygen. When they gave it dirty water, it cleaned the water and made it safe to drink. "This is incredible," Hyun-sik said. "This little organism could support human life anywhere in the galaxy." But the most amazing thing happened when Bora moved closer to examine it. The bioconstruct seemed to sense her presence. It pulsed faster and grew slightly larger. When Hyun-sik approached, it did the same thing. "It recognizes us," Bora said in wonder. "It knows we are human." They spent the next few hours testing their creation. The bioconstruct could process almost any organic material and turn it into something useful. Food scraps became clean water. Dead plant matter became breathable air. Even small pieces of metal seemed to help it grow stronger. According to the data file, Hyun-sik said, reading from his tablet, "This is just the beginning. With more materials and time, these bioconstructs can grow into entire living habitats. Imagine, we could grow cities that survive on airless worlds, or ships that repair themselves," Bora added excitedly, "or space stations that never need supply deliveries because they make everything they need." They were so focused on their experiment that they did not notice the security camera in the corner of the lab. The camera had been damaged in the meteor strike, but its recording system still worked. Somewhere else on the station, engineer So Young Choi was reviewing security footage from the night before. She often worked late shifts and liked to check the cameras to make sure everything was safe. Most nights she saw nothing interesting. Tonight was different. So Young watched the footage from Section C with growing alarm. 2 people in radiation suits were working with equipment in the abandoned lab. She could not see their faces, but she recognized their movements. Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee were conducting unauthorized experiments, but that was not the most disturbing part. As So Young watched, she saw something else in the footage. Shadows were moving in the corridors near the lab. At first, she thought it was just a camera malfunction, but as she watched more carefully, she realized the shadows looked like people walking through areas with deadly radiation levels, people who should not be able to survive in Section C without protection suits. So Young enhanced the image quality and zoomed in. What she saw made her hands shake. The figures in the shadows were crew members from the station. She recognized engineer Tae-ho Sung, who had been reported missing 2 days ago. He was walking normally through the radiated corridors wearing only his regular uniform. That was impossible. The radiation in Section C would kill an unprotected human in minutes. So Young quickly copied the security footage to a private file. She needed to report this to Commander Park immediately. But first, She wanted to see what was happening in Section C right now. She grabbed her radiation detector and headed for the abandoned section of the station. If crew members were somehow surviving in the radiated areas, she needed to know how. The corridors leading to Section C were dark and quiet. Her radiation detector began clicking as she got closer to the damaged area. The levels were still dangerously high, but as she rounded the corner to the main Section C corridor, she saw something that made her freeze in terror. Tae-ho Sung was standing in the hallway, looking directly at her. He appeared completely normal except for his eyes. They seemed to glow slightly in the dim light. "Hello, So Young," he said calmly. "We have been waiting for you." "Tae-ho, how are you alive? The radiation levels here should have killed you days ago." Tae-ho smiled. It was a strange smile, peaceful but somehow different from the man she remembered. "The radiation cannot hurt us anymore," he said. "We have been changed, improved. The bioconstructs do more than just make air and water. They make us better." "Bioconstructs? What are you talking about?" "Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee are not the first to experiment with the data from Earth. Some of us found small samples in the waste systems after their first tests. When we were exposed to the biological material, we began to change." So Young backed away slowly. "Changed how?" "We can survive in places that would kill normal humans. We can see in total darkness. We can communicate with each other across great distances without radio equipment. And we can sense when others are ready to join us." More figures emerged. From the shadows, So Young recognized them all, crew members who had been reported missing over the past 2 days. They all had the same peaceful expression and glowing eyes. "Join you in what?" So Young asked, though she was afraid to hear the answer. "In becoming what humanity was meant to be," Tae-ho said. "The data from Org Laboratory was not just about creating tools to help humans survive in space. It was about making humans capable of surviving anywhere in the universe. You are talking about human experimentation that is forbidden by every law in the galaxy. Laws written by species who fear what we might become," another voice said from the shadows. "But we do not need their permission to evolve." So Young turned and ran. Behind her, she could hear footsteps following, but they were not hurrying. The changed crew members seemed confident they would catch her eventually. As she ran toward the main section of the station, So Young realized the horrible truth. The email from Org Laboratory had not been an accident. Someone on Earth had sent humanity the tools for its next evolutionary step, and the transformation had already begun. She had to warn Commander Park before it was too late. But as she reached the main corridor, she wondered if it was already too late for all of them. The experiment had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. The question now was whether humanity was ready for what it was becoming. So Young Choi burst into the command center, breathing hard and shaking with fear. Commander Woojin Park was reviewing duty schedules at his desk. He looked up in surprise at her dramatic entrance. "So Young, what is wrong? You look like you have seen a ghost." "Commander, we have a serious problem. The missing crew members are not missing. They are in Section C, and they have been changed by something." Commander Park stood up quickly. "Changed how? What are you talking about?" So Young told him everything: the security footage, the radiation levels that should have killed anyone without protection, Tae-ho Sung and the others with their glowing eyes and strange abilities. "You are telling me that crew members are surviving deadly radiation and claiming they have been improved by biological experiments?" "Yes, sir. And they said Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee have been testing something from that Earth message, something called bioconstructs." Commander Park's face became dark. With anger, he pressed the communication button on his desk. "Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee, report to the command center immediately. This is not a request." Within minutes, both scientists arrived. They could see from the commander's expression that they were in serious trouble. "I specifically ordered you not to experiment with the data from that message," Commander Park said in a cold voice. "Did you disobey that order?" Hyun-sik and Bo-ra looked at each other. There was no point in lying now. "Yes, sir," Hyun-sik said, quietly. "We conducted one small test in Section C. One small test that has apparently transformed several crew members into something inhuman. We did not know that would happen, Bora protested. We only created a small bioconstruct to see if the data was real. We never intended for anyone else to be exposed. But they were exposed, So-Young said. And now they are saying this is the next step in human evolution. Before anyone could respond, all the lights in the command center went out. Emergency power kicked in a few seconds later, bathing everything in red light. The main communication screen flickered to life. A message appeared in large white letters. Commander Park, we need to talk. Meet us in Section C. Come alone. They are in our computer systems, Commander Park said grimly. How is that possible? Bioelectrical interface, Bora said softly. According to the data file, advanced bioconstructs can interact directly with electronic systems. If the crew members have been enhanced, they might be able to control our computers with their minds. The message on the screen changed. We can. Hear you. Bring Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee. You have 10 minutes. Commander Park looked at his officers. I want all remaining crew members to gather in the main dining hall. Lock the doors and do not let anyone in or out until I return. Commander, So-Young said, you cannot go to Section C. It might be a trap. If our own crew members have been transformed into something dangerous, we need to understand what we are dealing with. And if they can control our computers, hiding will not help us. The three of them made their way to Section C. As they walked through the corridors, they could hear strange sounds, like whispers in a language they did not understand. The sounds seemed to come from the walls themselves. They are communicating, Bora said. The enhanced humans can speak to each other through the station systems. When they reached the main Section C corridor, they found all the missing crew members waiting for them. 8 people stood in a perfect line, their eyes glowing softly in the dim light. They all looked calm and healthy, despite days of exposure to deadly radiation. Tae-ho Sung stepped forward. Thank you for coming, Commander. We know this is difficult to understand. Explain it to me, Commander Park said. What has happened to you? We have become what humans were always meant to be, Tae-ho replied. The bioconstructs do not just create tools for survival. They rewrite human DNA to make us capable of surviving anywhere in the universe. That sounds like science fiction. 3 days ago, I would have agreed with you. But look at us. We can survive in vacuum for short periods. We can process any organic material for food. We can see in complete darkness and communicate across vast distances without technology. Dr. Hyun-sik stepped closer to examine the transformed crew members. How do you feel? Are you still yourselves? We are still who we were, but better, said engineer Min Ho-jung, who had been missing for 3 days. Our memories are intact, our personalities unchanged, but we have abilities that normal humans do not possess. And the price? Commander Park asked. What did this transformation cost you? The enhanced humans looked at each other. For a moment, their confidence seemed to waver. We cannot go back, Tae-ho admitted. The changes are permanent, and we need regular exposure to bioconstruct material to maintain our enhanced abilities. So you are dependent on the alien technology. Not alien, said a new voice from the shadows. Human. Everyone turned to see a figure emerging from a side corridor. It was Dr. Yoon-soo Park, the station's former head researcher who had died in an accident 6 months ago. Except she was clearly not dead. Yoon-soo? Commander Park gasped. But you died in the meteor strike. I was badly injured, she replied calmly. But some of the meteorite fragments contained traces of bioconstruct material. My body absorbed it while I was unconscious in the medical bay. Instead of dying, I began to change. You have been living in Section C for 6 months? I have been preparing. The email from Orgsynth Laboratory was not random, I sent it. The revelation hit everyone like a physical blow. Bora was the first to speak. You sent the message? But how? And why? I discovered that the bioconstruct material in the meteorite came from Earth. Humanity has been developing this technology in secret for decades. The email address, Orgsynth Laboratory, stands for Organic Synthesis Laboratory. It is a hidden research facility that has been working to give humans the tools they need to survive in a hostile galaxy. But the message came from outside the station, Hyun-sik protested. I used the station's quantum communicator to bounce the signal off several relay points, making it appear to come from Earth. I needed you to think it was sent from home so you would trust the data. Commander Park felt angry and confused. Why all the deception? Why not simply tell us what you had discovered? Because you would have reported it to the Valkyrie, just as you nearly did when the message arrived. The alien species do not want humans to evolve beyond our current limitations. They see us as useful servants, nothing more. So you infected crew members with an experimental biological agent without their consent? I gave them a choice, Yoon-soo said firmly. When each person was exposed to small amounts of bioconstruct material, I explained what was happening. I told them they could choose to embrace the changes or try to fight them. And they all chose to change, Taeho answered. We chose to become something better, something that can survive when the aliens decide humanity is no longer useful to them. What do you mean? So Young asked. The Valkyrie and other alien species have been planning to limit human expansion for years, Yoon-soo explained. Eventually, they will decide we are too dangerous and try to destroy us. When that happens, enhanced humans will be the only ones who can survive and fight back. You are talking about war with advanced alien civilizations, Commander Park said. That is madness. Is it more mad than accepting slavery? Taeho asked. The aliens allow us to operate a few space stations and colonies, but we cannot expand beyond the systems they approve. We cannot develop certain technologies. We cannot even communicate freely with Earth. How is that different from being prisoners? Bora had been quiet during this exchange, but now she spoke up. The biological data. It contains instructions for more than just survival enhancements, does not it? Yoon-soo nodded. Phase 1 is individual enhancement. Phase 2 is collective intelligence, allowing enhanced humans to share thoughts and abilities across any distance. Phase 3 is integration with technology, becoming able to control machines and computers directly with our minds. And Phase 4? Hyun-sik asked, though he was not sure he wanted to know. Phase 4 is synthesis. The boundary between individual, consciousness, and collective intelligence disappears. Enhanced humans become part of something greater while retaining their individual selves. You are describing the end of humanity as we know it, Commander Park said. We are describing the beginning of humanity as it should be, Yoon-soo replied. The question is whether you will join us willingly or wait for the aliens to force the choice upon you. Suddenly alarms began ringing throughout the station. The enhanced humans all turned their heads toward the ceiling at exactly the same moment, as if they were listening to something the others could not hear. They are coming back, Taeho said grimly. The Valkyrie fleet. They know something has changed here. How many ships? Commander Park asked. 15 vessels, a full battle group. They are not coming to inspect this time. They are coming to destroy. Yoon-soo looked at Commander Park with her glowing eyes. Now you must choose, Commander. Will you trust in alien mercy, or will you trust in human evolution? Outside the station, space began to fill with alien ships. The transformation of humanity was about to face its first real test. The Valkyrie battle fleet surrounded Kepler Station like hungry wolves. 15 massive ships blocked every escape route. Their dark hulls bristled with weapons that could destroy the station in seconds. Commander Park stood in the command center, watching the alien ships on his screens. He had made his choice. Instead of surrendering the enhanced humans, he had ordered all remaining crew members to gather in Section C. If humanity was going to evolve, they would do it together. Commander, Communications Officer Jae-min Kim, reported, the Valkyrie are demanding immediate surrender of all biological materials and enhanced personnel. Tell them we are experiencing technical difficulties with our communication system, Park replied. Buy us as much time as possible. Section C. Dr. Yoon-soo Park was working frantically with the bioconstructs. She had grown them into larger structures that pulsed with strange energy. Normal crew members lined up to receive the enhancement treatment. The process is faster now, she explained to Dr. Bo-Ra Lee. I have learned to accelerate the genetic changes. Each person will be fully enhanced within minutes instead of days. What about the risks? Bora asked. The only risk is waiting too long, Tae-ho Sung answered. He was helping to organize the volunteers. Every minute we delay, the aliens get closer to destroying us all. Dr. Hyun-sik Kim watched as engineer So-young Choi stepped forward to receive the treatment. She had volunteered immediately after seeing what the enhanced humans could do. I'm scared, she admitted as Yoon-soo prepared the bioconstruct material. That is normal, Yoon-soo said gently. But fear of the unknown is better than certain death at alien hands. The enhancement process was remarkable to watch. So-young lay down on a simple table while Yoon-soo applied the bioconstruct material to her skin. The living substance seemed to absorb into her body. For several minutes, nothing visible happened. Then So-young's eyes began to glow with the same soft light as the other enhanced humans. She sat up slowly, looking around with wonder. I can hear them, she said in amazement. All of you. Your thoughts are like whispers in my mind, but I can understand them clearly. Welcome to the collective, Tae-ho said with a smile. You are still yourself, but now you are also part of something larger. One by one, the crew members of Kepler Station underwent the transformation. Some were afraid, others were excited, but all of them understood that this was their only chance for survival. As the last person completed the enhancement process, the Valkyrie fleet began moving closer to the station. Time is up, Commander Park announced over the communication system. All enhanced personnel to battle stations. We are about to find out what humanity is truly capable of. The first surprise came when the enhanced humans began working together, in ways that seemed impossible. They moved through the station like parts of a single organism. Without speaking, they coordinated their actions perfectly. Engineer Min Ho-jung and his team went to the reactor core. Instead of using tools, they placed their hands directly on the machinery. The station's power output increased by 300% as they interfaced with the systems using bioelectrical energy. Pilot Yoon Ji-han made her way to the flight deck. The station had small defense ships, but they were no match for Valkyrie warships under normal circumstances. However, Yoon-ji was no longer normal. She sat in the pilot's seat and pressed her palms against the control panel. Her consciousness merged with the ship's computer systems. Suddenly, she could feel every circuit, every engine, every weapon as if they were parts of her own body. This is incredible, she reported through the collective mental link. I am not flying the ship. I am the ship. The Valkyrie attacked without warning. Massive energy beams lanced out from their fleet, striking the station's shields. The barriers that should have failed instantly held firm, powered by the enhanced humans' bioelectrical abilities. But the real shock came when the station's small defense ships launched to meet the alien fleet. The pilots flew with impossible precision, dodging weapons fire that should have destroyed them easily. The ships moved like living creatures instead of machines. How are they doing that? Demanded Valkyrie Fleet Commander Thex 9 from his flagship. Human technology cannot match our weapon systems. The ships are exhibiting organic movement patterns, his science officer reported. It appears the pilots have achieved direct neural interface with their vessels. Impossible. Humans do not possess such capabilities. They do now, Commander. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships that should have been destroyed in the first minute of combat instead adapted to Valkyrie weapons. When the aliens fired energy beams, the human ships developed new armor that absorbed the energy. When the aliens used explosive missiles, the ships grew point defense systems that shot down every projectile. But the most terrifying development came when the human ships began to change shape during combat. Pilot Dong-hyun Lim watched his fighter craft grow additional weapons and engines in real time. The bioconstructs are integrating with our technology, he reported to the collective. Our ships are becoming alive. On Kepler Station, Dr. Yoon-soo Park was monitoring the battle through her connection to all the enhanced humans. She could see through their eyes, think with their minds, and feel their experiences as if they were her own. The Valkyrie are calling. For reinforcements, she announced. 5 more fleets are on their way. Can we defeat 20 alien fleets? Commander Park asked. Not with military force alone, Yunsu replied, but we do not need to defeat them. We need to show them something they have never seen before. What do you mean? Watch. Hyunsu reached out through the collective consciousness that connected all enhanced humans. But this time she reached farther. Beyond the station, beyond the solar system, to every enhanced human throughout the galaxy. For months, the bioconstruct material had been spreading quietly through human colonies. Workers who handled waste from ships that had visited Kepler Station. Researchers who had received samples through unofficial channels. People who had volunteered for secret experiments on distant worlds. Humanity's transformation had not begun at Kepler Station. It had been happening everywhere. All across human space, enhanced humans suddenly felt the call. On mining colonies, research stations and frontier worlds, thousands of people discovered they were connected to something greater than themselves. The Velkari reinforcement fleets arrived to find not one isolated station with enhanced humans, but an entire species that had evolved beyond their control. This is impossible, Fleet Commander Thex-9 said as his sensors detected bioelectrical signatures on dozens of human worlds. An entire species cannot transform this quickly. It can if the transformation was planned from the beginning, his science officer replied grimly. The enhanced humans did not attack the alien fleets. Instead, they did something that shocked the Velkari even more. They began broadcasting a message to every alien ship, transmitted directly through their bioelectrical abilities. The message was simple. We do not wish to fight you. We wish to grow beyond the limitations you have placed on us. Join us, or leave us alone. The choice is yours. Some Velkari ships immediately turned and fled. Others remained, uncertain what to do about an enemy that offered partnership instead of demanding surrender. But Fleet Commander Thex-9 was not interested in negotiation. He ordered his ships to begin destroying human colonies. That was when the enhanced humans showed the galaxy what they were truly capable of. Instead of fighting ship against ship, the enhanced humans linked their consciousness across light years of space. Every human pilot, every enhanced worker, every transformed colonist became part of a single vast intelligence. They moved as one being with thousands of bodies. They thought with millions of minds working in perfect coordination. They adapted to every alien weapon faster than the aliens could fire them. The war that followed lasted only 3 days. It ended not because one side defeated the other, but because something new emerged from the conflict. Humanity had learned to become more than human, and some alien species, witnessing this transformation, began to wonder if they could evolve beyond their own limitations as well. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the 3-day war that changed everything, Dr. Hyun-Sik Kim stood in what used to be the command center of Kepler Station. The room looked completely different now. Living walls pulsed with soft bioluminescent light. Organic computer systems grew from the floor like strange trees. The boundary between technology and biology had disappeared entirely. Hyun-Sik himself had changed beyond recognition. His consciousness existed simultaneously in his physical body and in the vast network that connected all enhanced humans. He could think as an individual or as part of humanity's collective intelligence. Most remarkably, he could shift between these states at will. The Velkari delegation is requesting another meeting, reported engineer So-Young Choi, her voice arriving through both spoken words and direct mental transmission. What do they want this time? Hyun-Sik asked. The same thing they have wanted for months. They want to understand how we did it. The irony was not lost on any of the enhanced humans. The alien species that had once tried to limit human development now desperately wanted to learn humanity's secrets. The transformation that had begun with a mysterious email had spread far, beyond what anyone had imagined. Commander Woo-Jin Park materialized in the room, his consciousness shifting from the collective network back into individual form. His physical body was somewhere else entirely, but his presence was as real as if he stood beside them. The Zephyrian Empire has agreed to our proposal, he announced. They want to begin the enhancement process for their entire species. That makes them the 4th alien civilization to request our help, So-Young observed. The galaxy is changing faster than we ever expected. It had started 3 months ago when a group of young Velkari scientists approached the enhanced humans in secret. They were fascinated by humanity's transformation and wanted to know if other species could achieve similar evolution. Dr. Yun-Su Park, now existing primarily as a consciousness within the collective network, had been cautious about sharing their knowledge. But she had eventually agreed to help a small group of volunteers from different alien species. The results had been remarkable. The bioconstruct material adapted to each species' unique biology, creating enhancements that fit their natural abilities. Velkari gained the ability to interface directly with quantum computers. Zephyrians developed telepathic communication across galactic distances. Even the crystalline Nexari discovered they could grow new body structures at will. The old galaxy is ending. Yun-Su's voice resonated through the collective consciousness. The age of isolated species competing for resources is over. We are entering an era of cooperative evolution. Hyun-Sik felt a familiar sensation. Someone was accessing his individual consciousness from the network. It was Dr. Bo-Ra Lee, calling him to join her in a special project. "I need to show you something," Bo-Ra said as their minds connected. "I have been analyzing the original data from Orcs laboratory. There were hidden files that only became accessible after we reached a certain level of enhancement." Hyun-Sik followed Bo-Ra's consciousness into a deeper layer of the network. Here, information existed as living structures that could be explored and experienced rather than simply read. "Look at this," Bo-Ra said, sharing her discovery. Hyun-Sik found himself experiencing a memory that was not his own. He was seeing through the eyes of someone on Earth hundreds of years in the future. The planet looked completely different. Cities were living organisms that grew and adapted to their inhabitants' needs. Humans and dozens of alien species lived together in perfect harmony, their consciousness linked through bioelectrical networks that spanned the galaxy. "This is what we are becoming," Bo-Ra explained. "The transformation we started here is just the beginning." Humanity's future self sent the Orcs laboratory data back through time to ensure this timeline would occur. A temporal loop, Hyun-Sik realized. "We received the knowledge we needed because we will eventually develop it ourselves. But it is more than that. Look deeper." Hyun-Sik experienced another memory, this one from even further in the future. He saw the galaxy transformed into a single living system. Planets, stars, and space itself had become part of an enormous consciousness that included every intelligent species that had ever existed. "Complete synthesis," he whispered in awe. "Not just human evolution, but universal evolution." "The bioconstructs are not just tools for enhancement," Bo-Ra explained. "They are seeds of a new kind of existence. Every species that accepts them becomes part of something infinitely larger than what they were before." Their exploration was interrupted by an urgent message from the outer colonies. Commander Park's consciousness rejoined them instantly. "We have a problem," he announced. "The Hegemony Alliance has declared war on all enhanced species. They are calling us a threat to natural evolution and demanding our immediate destruction." The Hegemony Alliance was a group of conservative alien civilizations that had refused all contact with enhanced humans. They viewed the transformation spreading through the galaxy as a disease that needed to be eliminated. "How many ships?" So Young asked, her consciousness joining the discussion. 3,000 vessels from 12 different species, the largest military force ever assembled in this part of the galaxy. "Can we defeat them?" Hyun-Sik wondered. "We do not need to defeat them," Yun-Su replied, her ancient wisdom flowing through the network. "We need to show them what they are truly fighting against." The enhanced humans reached out through their consciousness network, connecting with every transformed being in the galaxy. Humans, Velkari, Zephyrians, Nexari, and dozens of other species joined their minds in perfect unity. Together, they did something that had never been attempted before. They opened their collective consciousness to the attacking fleet, offering to share their experiences directly with the enemy soldiers. The effect was immediate and profound. Hegemony Alliance crew members suddenly found themselves experiencing what it was like to think with a million minds while retaining individual identity. They felt the joy of perfect cooperation, the wonder of enhanced abilities, and the peace that came from being part of something greater than themselves. Most importantly, they realized that enhanced beings had not lost their original nature. They had simply gained the ability to become more than they had been before. The 3,000 enemy ships stopped their attack. Many crews requested immediate permission to dock with enhanced colonies and begin their own transformation process. "It is over," Commander Park announced. "The last resistance to universal enhancement has ended." But Hyun-sik knew it was not really an ending. It was a beginning. As his consciousness expanded through the galactic network, he could sense the next phase of evolution approaching. The bioconstructs were already adapting to work with the fundamental forces of physics. Soon, enhanced beings would be able to transform matter and energy at the subatomic level. Eventually, they would transcend physical existence entirely, becoming pure consciousness that could exist anywhere in the universe. But they would never lose the core of what had made them who they were, the curiosity, adaptability, and determination that had driven them to reach for the stars in the first place. "Doctor." Hyun-sik Kim smiled as he prepared to send a message back through time to his past self. The email address would be simple: orgsynthalaboratory@eggmail.com. The attached data would contain everything needed to begin humanity's transformation. "The circle closes," he said to his companions in the collective consciousness. "And the spiral continues," Yunsu replied. "Every ending is a new beginning." In the depths of space, bioconstructs drifted toward distant galaxies, carrying the seeds of transformation to civilizations that had not yet dreamed of what they might become. Humanity had learned the greatest truth of all: evolution never ends. It only finds new ways to become more wonderful than before. The synthesis was complete. The universe was ready for its next phase of existence, and it all began with a single email that traveled across time itself to change everything.